Do you want to give a quick introduction about the DC that you manage, please?
Yes, we're a third-party logistics firm for a large construction producer. And we have product brought in by railway to our location, and we send out to their customers via flatbed trailers. Pretty simple operation. A lot of mostly full units are moved, and the customer base is strong. The business itself is very consistent. So you can manage with just a few amount of people and some forklift equipment. And it's a great place to be.
Great, fantastic. So what was the problem that you guys were trying to solve, right? Let's start from the beginning. So, what were you guys doing before we engaged, right? Before you guys started using LoadProof, what was the problem you were trying to solve, and what were your frustrations?
So, as simple as I just made the operation sound, damage to the material has always been an issue, both on the inbound rails and customer complaints after receiving the flatbeds. These are very large units that don't necessarily have protection around the outside, so certainly it can happen. Before LoadProof, we were at the mercy of conversations with both upstream and downstream leaders, taking their word for best practices used during loading the material and unloading. And we had a little more leverage when we were dealing with our suppliers from the railway, as far as things they could do to help protect the product as it was coming from their location. On the customer side of things, generally we would just accept what customers would share with us, and they would generally get refunded for any damage that they may have received. Now that we have LoadProof, we are able to capture photos of both the inbound product as it arrives to share with the producers and give them specific examples of things that we'd like to see changed in protection. And on the delivery side of things, we're capturing each load before it leaves our facility. And so when we hear a customer complaint down the road about damage and or even missing items, we have the photos to prove that yes, we did, or no, we did not have an issue on our end, and we believe it had to have occurred after it left our hands.
Got it. So it's better. You guys have now have a tool to show, hey, this is how it shipped. And when it shipped from our facility, you can clearly demonstrate the condition. You're not blindly taking their word for claims or chargebacks, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's another part to that in the delivery. You have contracted trucking lines who are making those deliveries. So, we feel, I think more often than not, we're not doubting that the damage is received on their end, but what was done from the time it left our facility to arriving at their facility, whether it may have been straps that were tightened too much to cause issues with the product, or jostling from the travel, or even sometimes on the customer end, damage incurred when they're unloading, yet someone would sometimes claim that, no, it was like that when they took it off. So again, with those photos and with the proof, we can feed back to them and show them that, no, we had no issue on our end when this load was loaded. And at that point, the customer who delivers to us is not held accountable for those damages that they see.
Okay. All right. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I go ahead.
So, how did you hear about LoadProof, right? What piqued your interest?
LoadProof was actually a corporate initiative with my company. I am a general manager of a Kenco facility, looking at some of the correspondence for Smart Gladiator and all, I see that Trevor Ehrlich had a great statement for you in defense or an appreciation of your company. I've worked directly with Trevor since my time here. And the ultimate goal for Kenco is to have LoadProof in all the facilities because we've seen the benefits, and it's totally worth it to have it available for when these occasions arise.
Got it. So I mean, I know it was spearheaded by Christy and Trevor from an innovation perspective. Out of from your personal perspective, right? From your personal challenges in your daily life, running the facility, shipping all these products, fulfilling all these orders, making sure your customers are happy, right? How did you perceive? I mean, obviously, there is one thing. Hey, it's a corporate mandated rollout across all facilities versus, hey, wow, this is really going to help me save money, save labor, blah blah blah. What was your perspective, apart from Kenco's? I mean, through Christy and Trevor's recommendation. Just I mean, I'm just trying to get to your as a warehouse manager, you have a lot of people that are you're managing and making sure all this gets done correctly. From your perspective, what was your feeling or challenge you overcame?
When the idea was first brought to me, I was all for it because I had been involved with similar systems in past work life. And it so much does save a lot of heartache down the road where you don't have the answers or you don't have the proof to show that you did everything correctly on your end. So I was all for it. I think I was probably one of the first ones to get on board and get the app installed and all. Okay. To be honest with you, it's simple to use. The biggest issue I had was really having the team buy in because now we just changed their process and made them stop and take some photos and all. And again, though, after a while, they see the advantages of doing so as well. And it protects them also from possible disciplinary because they would have been blamed for damage and or misses or what have you. So now it's an accepted culture. There is no issue whatsoever in having the team use the application, and we capture every single load as it leaves the building.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. So how long did it take for the team to buy into the thing? Is it like a week, month? How long did it take when they realized, oh my God, now I can show this, show that I did my job well as well, right?
Well, as you know, a lot of people are resistant to change, right?
Yep.
I think that probably drove it more than anything with some senior folks. But honestly, within a couple weeks, we had it up and running. And we had some issues that weren't related to LoadProof itself. We had some connectivity issues. We had to purchase some MiFis. We had to purchase some laptop.
Mobile devices, yeah.
To have out on the floor and the protection of those and whatnot. So it was a bit of an investment up front, but again, so much worth it.
Got it. Okay. So what results you guys were able to quantify? I mean, obviously now you have proof, you can show that, right? Apart from that, what are the other areas of the business that improved by deploying this LoadProof tool?
As much as it was used and is used for final conversations with a customer down the road, I think it helped improve the performance of the workers we have here. Because not only are we using it to show proof down the road, it captures what they did or how they performed as they were loading these trailers as well. And it's not meant to be used as a tool against them, but it's meant to be used as a proof tool, either way you want to look at it. So sure, there's been a couple occasions where customers said they were missing some product. And when I refer back to the photos, the customer was right. In the past, the loader could have said, no, it definitely was on there. And we could go do a cycle count. And if everything added up, we'd have no other choice but to believe them because the workers they're a good workforce. And a lot of senior guys have been doing this a long time. But yes, it was able to hold our people accountable as well. It's improved their performance. They realized that this tool is present and they need to always be doing the right thing. So internally, it's up as well.
Great. So it improved the internal morale. Now everybody knows, hey, it's all being documented. So I got to really make sure I do my job.
Yes, and not asking them to do anything over the top or beyond their responsibility. It's just perfecting what they do on a normal daily basis. And obviously that's what the customer expects. They expect every load in perfect order and exactly as ordered. So it's helped drive that considerably.
Great. So, I think coming from a 3PL perspective, right, it's even more important for you guys. That's why, you guys are basically the experts in this business, right? That's why the big brands, the big, companies, outsource it to you guys, right?
Yes, absolutely. We still have some opportunity on the inbound side of things, as much as we are the origin for the outside customers. So now we need the producers to become the origin, and we can feed back to them. I've been looking into that, and I've certainly shared the information about LoadProof with them, and that may be something that they look into. But unfortunately, we can't. They're not Kenco. They're not corporate, so that would be up to them whether they want to go after that. In the meantime, there's still plenty of photos shared and whatnot of what we see and things we'd like to see done differently. There's been a complete Lean Six Sigma Greenbelt project involved with quality manager of the customer to get that really looked at. Specifically, they've changed some things and they've sent us 15 to 20 cars that they pointed out to me. They definitely wanted me to notice when they were taken into the building, to note the differences or things that they've tried for protection and if it worked, if it didn't work. So that happened a few weeks ago.
Wow, awesome.
The feedback was provided.
Okay.
Solutions are still being worked. Unfortunately, it was outside of the realm of LoadProof, and if LoadProof were involved on both ends, it probably could have been done a lot simpler.
Oh, really? Okay. So this is for the inbound when they are pulling the product inside?
When they're shipping to us.
Okay. So is it on their facility, or is it when it hits the inbound docks in the facility that you're managing?
Yeah, they're in my facility where the product is originating from. They do not use the app currently.
Got it. Okay, got it. So you guys have both the manufacturing and distribution in the same campus or same facility?
We're basically a middle warehouse, if you will. That is the basis of 3PL. So technically, we're not producing or manufacturing anything. We're taking from the supplier after the train haul and sending out on the flatbeds. Store temporarily.
Okay, got it. All right. I know what was the ROI using LoadProof. If it's not a big deal to share any numbers, I'm just curious how much money. There are two big savings, right? One is the damage to the product itself. So the product itself is protected pretty well now. Two is once the damage happens or a claim comes through, then you guys are spending a lot of time spending labor figuring out, hey, how did this happen? Why did this happen? How can we make sure this does not happen again, right? At least I see two types of savings, right? How did that, if it's not a big deal to share numbers, please share numbers. If not, that's okay. What did that look like?
I'd say it's really tough to capture a number because you're right. All those factors do come into play. Reduced labor, quicker turnover, more efficient operations. I will tell you this, though. If I were to guess, it's got to be in the tens of thousands. But as far as ROI goes, for the cost of $5 a month for the program, we easily get $45 worth of productivity back, if not 1,000 times as much.
So the tens of thousands of dollars, is that per month savings approximately?
Yeah, well, maybe 5 to 10, I think is fair to say.
Okay.
Consider the amount of claims that no longer go through because we are able to justify.
Yeah.
And, just the overall decrease in damage that we have seen on the outbound side of things because of LoadProof Those two things alone, I would say easily a few thousand. Absolutely.
Okay, got it. And is there a percentage that the number of claims came down by? Would you be able to put a percentage to it and say what that would be, please?
I couldn't say that. That's all run through the customer. Being in the 3PL operation, we're not necessarily privy to all of that information. But I think maybe the number of claims itself has not decreased, but the number of claims paid certainly has.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay.
In the past. So, yeah, I think monetarily it's made a big difference in that regard.
Got it. So even though now people submit the claims and you guys have the proof to refute those claims, hey, look at this. We did our job great, and we got pictures to prove that.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And adding those pictures, helped you guys to push back those claims in a much more better manner, right?
Yeah, that's the whole purpose. And even in the beginning, we were taking photos of the outside, and if there was questions as to, well, you guys really didn't capture everything with your photos. Okay, so we expand the photos. You can take endless amounts of photos and associate it with a certain delivery. If the customer wants to see the front and back of every unit that gets on their flatbed, so be it, not a problem. We can do that. Some customers are a little bit pickier than others. Generally, we don't have a huge issue, I would say, with damaged material being shipped to customers. But when the situation arises, it's nice to know that LoadProof is there to back us up.
Got it. Okay, perfect. I think this is great. I'm going to stop the video, and then we can go from there.
Sounds great.